Polite Inquiries, MCG. Darwan Pujara, Raina Dhoni, Ishant Ashwin, Harbhajan Sehwag, Bhuvi, Robbie Uthappa, Yadav, Shami, Zahir, Yuvraj, Sachin, Dravid and BVS. Some of the players who were mentioned on Polite Inquiries today. Ashish says, is this the longest any team has ever been in a learning process ever? England will be under a new era for, I don't know, a decade.
Australia, rebuilding phase.
Yes.
Rebuilding
Argus,
phase.
they had an Argus thing for a little while. Look, teams do this.
It's a young team. Young, mostly.
It's not that.
Oh.
They've played around the world, they've played in franchises, I don't know, they're in a learning phase, you know, sometimes that goes on for a while. I know people who are still in school and they're like 40, you know what I mean? It's possible that India might just need a little bit longer. They don't play any first-class cricket, so they learn everything that they need to learn about Test cricket from Test cricket.
Yeah, transitional phase is the other one as well. Transitional phase. They'll go from learning phase to transitional phase, maybe.
Yeah, work experience kids. Niraj says, Indian fast bowling spearhead Ishant not able to even take a single wicket of tail-enders in previous tests, apart from Lords. Apart from the test where away from home he won for your country, he doesn't do it.
But that's probably the frustrating thing about Ishant and why fans get so frustrated is there's a big, I guess, is there a big gap between him at his best and at his worst? And I suppose as one of the senior members, or the senior member of this sort of fast bowling clique, I guess they're looking for him to take a leadership role. And he's bowled really well in phases, like a number of them have. But if anyone's going to be consistent out of the fast bowlers, you would expect it to be Ishant because he's got the most experience.
It is very important to note, and very few people ever look into this, the fact that you need a bowler who bowls well to the tail, and India don't have that. And I think we've seen that again. I think Jimmy Anderson's still batting at Trent Bridge. I think if you... Agent Sabadana says, simple one, how does one get Steve Smith out early? Almost no weak spots. It's unfair. The funny thing about Steve Smith is he was 100% weak spots, and somehow he's firmed up those weak spots, and now he doesn't have them. I asked Brettig at one stage today, Dan Brettig, the Brettig.
The Brettig?
I said,
did he speak to you?
Yeah, he did. Occasionally, you know. He came out of an urgent meeting and he talked to me, and I said, can you think of a single plan that India have had for Steve Smith in this whole series? He said bowling outside off. I said, that's not really a plan, that's just what teams do.
So it's not really simple at the moment, is it, either? You say it's a simple thing, but he's just on fire. Yeah. And he's just, as Chris Rogers said, it's scary almost at the moment. Well, he's probably scaring all of the Indian bowlers because everything he touches turns to goal. He was playing some ridiculous shots
Literally,
today.
I saw him touch a cricket bat and it turned into goal.
Well, he's playing some ridiculous shots. He's in that kind of crazy form and he's so confident. I don't think anything's going to be simple about getting Steve Smith out at the moment.
I think getting a bowler to run into him and then running him out is quite a handy way. But Kumar says, Dhoni is not the only one to blame. What can he do if the batsmen don't score and the bowlers don't bowl in the right areas?
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yes. He's got to shoulder some of it.
Well, he has been the captain for a very long time. This is his team. He's obviously picked the players he wanted. He picked the coach that he wanted. He picked the Ravi Shastri that he wanted. There has to be a certain point where you're right, he could have a better team, and clearly he wants an all-rounder, but there's a certain point where it's just like, he has to just be better. He just has to not do what he does.
I think I'd like to see more disappointment and fire from him when they're not, in press conferences. No, but you see what I mean? In press conferences, he's very, quiet and calm and everything's very logical and all. I kind of want to see that it hurts him. I don't see that it hurts him that they're still losing away from home.
Mel would like to see you bleed, MS.
Oh no, don't say that. Come after me. He wants a present from me.
Scott says, is Sean Marsh the most relieved Australian to hear that Mitchell Marsh won't be fit for Sydney? Well, I think Shane Watson and Joe Burns, I think there's a lot of people relieved. That's an interesting batting lineup at the moment. Everyone's not quite sure they're going to be there next week.
Well, it's all very unsettled at the moment, isn't it? We've got injuries. I mean, we saw Dave Warner might not be great either after getting hit in the nets.
The nets are the hardest place to bat in this series, by the way.
For Australians, I think. But it does seem very unsettled, and very, very few players seem to be secure in that role. And you've got questions certainly being asked about a lot of them. I don't think Sean Marsh would actually be happy about his brother being out, but his place certainly doesn't seem certain. But is Watson's either? I don't know.
Matthew Begg says, is Ryan Harris the most likeable cricketer in the world?
Yes.
Darren Sammy.
No, I love Rhino. I just do.
Jesse Ryder.
No, No. Ever since
Surab Gangu? No,
ever since the Wacker, when he got Alistair Cook out, and then in Cape Town, the end of that game. And I also love him because he's honest, because in South Africa when he was saying, oh, I've got no idea how reverse swing works, but he just uses it to get batsmen out. I love that.
It's hard not to like Ryan Harris unless you're facing him.
Yeah.
Ganesh says, India is in Australia, what Australia is in India. True. No. Yes, but that doesn't matter. It's such a pointless thing to say, because when Australia are in India, all we do is whinge about Australia and how they should get better in India. When India are in Australia, we do the same thing. That's what we should be doing. Both of these teams should be playing better away from home than they do. To just pretend that it doesn't matter because both teams can't travel to the other country is idiocy and boring, and I'm so over people saying things like that. Australia should learn how to play in the subcontinent. India should learn how to play anywhere that is not the subcontinent. How is this hard for people to grasp? These things, we didn't just invent cricket outside and inside the subcontinent. This has been going on for quite a few years. In fact, India have been a test nation since about 1926. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe the fact that they're
No, Mel!
It's so scary when he's like this. But maybe now that Australia are importing Indian soil to the National Cricket Centre.
Nandan says, does the Indian management not help its bowlers by telling them what to bowl? No plan, or does Dhoni doesn't listen? I mean, they've planned the hell out of the Indian players at this stage. I don't think the Indian players know how to get onto a team bus until a bowling analyst has come up to them and told them the exact way to step up each step.
Well, Dhoni keeps saying that they haven't bowled enough, the younger fast bowlers. He said this the other day, I asked him about it in the press conference, and again he said they haven't been bowling enough outside of India to be able to be relied on to bowl in the right areas. Essentially, he's kind of saying he can tell them to do something, but they're not really capable of necessarily doing it.
If only they were the richest cricket board on earth, they could send their players to other places to learn how to bowl consistently in long A tours and things like that.
Yeah.
WS says, when does Australia's tail start? No, the real tail. There is no tail. Josh Hazelwood would have made 200 today. Steve Smith owes him a beer.
Yeah, we were saying this before, really though, even in the past kind of 18 months in particular, I hope that the Australian bowlers haven't had to buy a single drink, because the number of times that they've had to bail out the top order. But I guess you also look at it, quite a few of the Australian bowlers, when they were younger, were predominantly batsmen, or at least partly, batsmen more so than they are now, like even Ryan Harris. I mean, he was not batting like a bowler today. The shots he was playing.
He certainly wasn't posing like a bowler after he played the shots.
He held it for quite a long time. It was good.
Cool story, bro, says.
Good name.
Would you make love to Vijay's drives? I have.
No, because that would mean being unfaithful to Ian Bell's drives.
AJ says, did you jinx Steve Smith's double ton? I don't think that's to me. Who would that be to?
Okay, so technically no, but kind of yes. When he was on about 180, he played a reverse sweep and it went to the boundary. I might have tweeted, dare you to go for the 200 playing a ramp shot. And interestingly enough, when he was in the 190s, he tried to ramp and got out. Sorry, it was my fault. I won't do it again.
We'll see you tomorrow.